All right, family. All right. All right, and all riggedy right. What's going on today, family? How y'all doing out there? November the 2nd. Let me just do this real quick here in real time. Pardon me 1 second. Not only do we have to change the time, I don't know if y'all could hear me on that one because I was away from the microphone there. Not only do we have to change the time, speaking of which, let your boy real quick. Let me just mute the sound here because we need to be hearing bells and whistles and rings and dings and all that kind of stuff. Man, family, y'all welcome in. Welcome. It's going to be a good one today, man. We're coming off one that we just did on Spotify on the podcast there. This is going to be a good bleed over topic today. Again, we're still going down the road of the 12 universal laws out of this book, the 12 universal laws by Manhardeep Singh, right? So, 4, 5, and 6, they're an interesting topic to talk on, right? So, and again, family, welcome in, and welcome in us who are a different view family who believe in love after, hunger and thirst, searching and seeking to find that which is a different view family. Welcome in. Today's topic, again, we put a little tagline and it's, the beginning of November, which it is the beginning of the month, right? Normally what happens around the beginning of the month, the first of the month, it's been talked about in hip hop songs and all over the place, right? First of the month's when you go take them SNAP benefits. As a matter of fact, pause 1 second. Let me just wanted to share this live. Again, share, like, alert. I don't like saying subscribe because I don't really have a subscription, but alert yourself to when these lives come on, when these, reviews, because I will repost this to my page here. We're about getting out the good news, family, the gospel, right? Again, like we talk about on this podcast, and it's been going on now for 3 years. Next year will be 4, right? Just talking about all the different things that have happened in life, that have happened in life, that we can see on the horizon that will happen in life as a result of just looking at life. Okay. Man. Let me see if I can find this in real time while we are doing this, because again, we have to have a conversation about life, family. It's not good to just drone about while we have we've been given the God-given right to just drone about in what we do. Okay. We have to be careful. And this is a little article that came up again just in my own studies, but we're gonna have fun with it this morning, right? Again, as we learn, we give knowledge. The little tagline on my calendar this morning, right, says the poetry of earth is never gone. As the clock goes back to or humans decide to put the clock back on that which is naturally running by the maker. If we could talk about this for 2 seconds, we've talked about it on the podcast. We know people are going to have a yay and a nay on this because some folks just like listening to massa and some don't, right? So, and then we build up defenses one way or those who are against are going to build up a defense against. So on and so forth. Okay. And this is not a cut on anybody, how you look at this. But again, whether a doctor wanted to study butterflies or whether they still want to today, whether we're dealing with trade routes and all of the greed and unfortunate stuff wrapped around the East, trying to find trade routes in the West, right, family? See, the background here is this globe I have in my office, right? Of course, with a verse there that talks about from the Proverbs of trusting in the Lord and leaning not. Family, we got to understand You are supposed to rely on your understanding. As we learn about this life around us, you're supposed to rely on it. The verse is telling you not to lean, right? Shout out Fat Joe and the gang. No, we're not lean back, do the rock away. We're not leaning on our understanding, right? So Venezuela, man, family. Shout out our South American brothers and sisters one time. As we are in a month that is supposed to be honoring November. Again, another one of these things is that it's a lot of the focus in November is native cultural month. We'll say it that way. Family, we've said it many times on this podcast that if you love this land, right, of which I do, I love this planet, as a matter of fact. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful seas and oceans and rivers and lakes, right, that have been put here by the Maker. Again, while I say I am Christian, family, we do not drone away into things just the same as the rest. Family, this is what it is, okay? Things that have come from a different part of the world to this one here, we have learned in some very unnecessary fashion. And it's no diss on nobody. It's just time to come up higher. The reason we have this issue with this SNAP thing, family, is because we are leaning and relying upon a group of people, aka we call government, when we need to start relying upon each other. This is not just an individual thing. This isn't just an individual thing. This is an everybody thing. An everybody thing. Too long now, we have been taught, as you look at this globe behind you here, right? We're again, no matter whether you go way, way, way up here into Canada, all the way through into the middle part of North America, whether you start going down into Central America, right? Whether you come down into, again, where they got a problem now is all up in Central and South America. Family, didn't we already see this in history before? Yeah, we have, right? So now this attack, and we got to say it that way. Family, when we talk about drug-related issues, do you really, really think that this is just some invasion from Mexico, some invasion from Venezuela, Colombia, right? Argentina and all this? Do you think it's coming from this somewhere and they just coming up into America, invading people with drugs and assault of all different types? Do you really think that's what this is? They got us talking this way on purpose, but do you really think that's what it is? When you go back and look into history, you can clearly see that's not the case. Yes, our people groups all screwed up across this planet, for sure. But that is not everybody, okay? It's not everybody. When we speak on, when I'm a little bit different than our, and this is nothing against anything, but this is just how I receive it. This is how I perceive it. When our Muslim brothers and sisters talk about the so-called white man as being the devil, I like to make a distinction between it because I do not believe it is all of them, but it is a good portion of them. Now, with that being said, it is foolish, and we have led ourselves into foolishness. Since it's the Sunday message, it'll get a little bit preachy. My apologies, right? Understand that this has led into high levels of foolishness because we're okay excusing the wrongs inside our own people groups, whether it be Asian, whether it be Indian. When we say Indian, we're talking about the people from India. So that, Euro-Asia area, as it used to be said over there, right? We'll spin the block, right? We'll spin the globe, right? So all up in here, all up in Indo-Asia, right? This is the big old block that they put it in, okay? Understand, family, right? We got to call the mess out in our in native tribes. We got to call the mess out in our Latin tribes. Again, they put Latin and Hispanic on words that had to do with the tribes, the people down there. But I digress. That's Spain's doing, Portugal and all that mess, right? From Europe. We're just saying what it is. Again, this is why we say there's certain people groups that have issues, but there's one that's at the top of the class, family. Because they then took all this infighting that was, again, going on all up in here, right? They took all that infighting and then spread it across. Spread it across, like, spread it across. Wait. We just don't want to pass because there's islands in here, right? And just all, that's what went on. That's what went on. And we're living in the aftermath of it. The government built in these lands, what we like to call Europe 2.0, is okay watching you suffer. Again, when a statement that is always said when the so-called white man, shout out to our black brothers and sisters one time. When the so-called white man catch a cold, the rest of us catch pneumonia, huh? That's what's going on, family. So the beginning of this, what you're going to see, right? The SNAP benefit thing, family, come together. Again, do we know how to, unfortunately, different parts of the world you live in, right? Especially, or different parts of, probably the world, I should say, just being objective, as well as North America, right? Is this idea of hunting, okay? We're going to have to be okay, family. They're playing around with food source. This is nothing new. While this time of year we go, and this is not to knock the Holocaust or our Jewish brothers and sisters. We don't do that over here, right? But just the same, we won't knock our Palestinian brothers either and sisters. We don't do that either, right? A family fight is what that is, y'all, that you're watching, fueled by somebody believing what they believe in. And while El Presidente is going to take credit for having some ceasefire over their family, at the end of the day, you need to realize that fight should have never happened to begin with. You agree where you want to agree, where you're going to live. You live there in peace, in the story. But right about the time where greed is involved, that's where all this goes sideways. No different than on these lands. No different than the recent strikes here from the U.S. government on Venezuela, because all of a sudden now they bringing in drugs. Let's read the article, right? This is one you can find even while you're, talking with me. This is from the Associated Press, okay? The headline reads, U.S. strikes another alleged drug-carrying boat in the Pacific and kills all four aboard, Hegseth says, right? So I believe, dude, he's the defense secretary, Pete Hegseth. Again, most of these folks I don't pay too much attention to because we know they're all operating off the same thing. Family, we've said this from the jump here on this podcast. Most of the folks, by the time they hit the ballot for you to vote in, they've already signed on the Screw You magazine. And the screw you part is y'all, us, okay? To say we can believe this and look for some weird kind of light in the middle of all this. This is what it is, okay? So it goes on to read that Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth announced Wednesday that the U.S. military carried out another strike. So another strike. Interesting. Again, they believe the whole narrative here that has happened historically is that they're bad. And as Julian Michaels said, talking about removing some things from the Smithsonian Museum and other museums, I guess, wherever, is that white people not bad, okay? Excuse me, we're on TikTok, so YT people, right? It's weird. You made up the distinction because, again, that name was both YT and black were not there. And then they made them up to make up the rest of these laws. This is things you can look up. You just look up on your phone, computer, whatever. It's very simple. You can go into a deeper research, but a lot of the, how do they say it? How do they say it with jobs? Gosh, when you first the entry level, yeah, the entry level information, you can find it right at your fingertips. It's not all fake news, right? Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, again, this article goes on, announced Wednesday that the U.S. military carried out another strike on a boat that he said was carrying drugs. Hey, folks in the hood, right? They understand about getting stuff planted on them, don't they? Leave it alone. And we say the hood. It's not, this is all over. Our Native brothers and sisters can talk about this. Matter of fact, they just had, I forgot his name. Leonard Peltier, I believe his name is. He was just released from jail. Supposedly shooting down some federal agents. Family, again, Veterans Day is coming up here. Shout out the military one time. Because I don't think people understand really what's going on. Maybe that need to be a little louder. Family, on this podcast, we have no problem with the idea, okay, of the military and the police department and the fine men and women. When we say fine men and women, we're talking about literally the fine men and women who defend these lands and our neighborhoods all day from us being stupid, right? The problem we have with both groups is the mean boy, mean girl mentality inside both of them, where you would allow for abuse to military officers that we see all the time. And we understand, right? So the excuses, well, there's nothing perfect. Yeah, I know. All right. These are the same excuses we use in our home, where we allow for unfortunate abuse to our spouses and children and dogs. This is what we do. Okay. And it's just time to look in the mirror. That Snow White movie came out earlier this year that everybody had a problem with. Mirror, mirror on the wall. We're going to have to start asking questions in our own houses, man. Okay. Oh, let's keep going. Let's keep going. On a boat, he said, was carrying drugs in the Eastern Pacific Ocean. Okay. Killing all 4 people aboard as the Trump administration pursues its divisive campaign. It's interesting they use the word divisive there. Divisive? Okay. Again, I guess it's divisive, meaning as the word divisive, because again, we understand it's an equivocal language over here. So I guess divisive means we're dividing ourselves and protecting ourselves against the Venezuelans who are doing such harm across this part of the world right now. Okay. We know the word divisive means something different, right, family? Matter of fact, let's just take the time, right? We talk about constantly on this podcast, understanding words and phrases because they convey thought. We think in thought. And this is how massa gets over on folks, tending to cause disagreement or hostility between people. So which one is being the divisive? Let's see. Here are some of the synonyms: alienating, estranging, isolation. Unfortunately, Black folks like to do that with their own Black people, depending on who they marry. This could be any one of the group, other than so-called Black women, which are at the low end, we understand. But whenever they do get hooked up, they've got high, just saying what it is from what they're tracking. High broken homes. We're not saying from where it comes from, family. We're talking about the actual thing here. If we're pairing up with our own women, we are, as men, hurting them. That's what has to be said. Not from conjecture, conspiracy, or brother, I don't know what you're talking about. No. They're studying it. The kids are growing up in broken homes. We're at the top of the list on that. It's time to take responsibility. Can we do what Adam couldn't do in the Garden of Eden? Or are we going to sit there in the brokenness and keep telling the maker, this is the woman you gave me? Which one are we going to do, family? So divisive meaning tending to cause disagreement or hostility. Schismatic, based off the word schism, causing a schism, division. Which why everybody going to be in church this Sunday morning right? Or maybe, where I'm at, depending on where it is in different places, we may be an hour ahead, an hour back, who knows, right? Because now we're at an hour back, which is the natural way. This, again, going back to what we started at the beginning of this podcast, we don't have to speed up time for nothing. It's already been made where time's supposed to be, whether you're on the northern or southern hemisphere. Clearly, we can't agree upon what's west and east because we keep putting nations from the east in the west, but I digress. Right? Discordant. Big old word that's got discord at the beginning. We've done a whole episode on this word discordant or discord, right? From a biblical sense, where we should not sow discord amongst the brethren. We look silly doing that. Discord, as you break down that word, deals with a lack of harmony, and you can see that for sure. As people say, Sunday is the most segregated day in America. Because unfortunately, we cannot worship together because racism is at the foundation of it and not God, not the creator, not the maker. So now the Asian got to be over here. This is on top of just doing what you do normally, okay? For those who are going to find an excuse. Because again, we make too many for massa and not enough in the opposite direction. It's just what we do. The quicker that me and y'all, you and I, as they say, understand these things, the easier life becomes. Because life is simple. People make it complicated. The sun rises, whether time is shorter or not, it sets, whether time is shorter or not. Whether the sun stays up longer, just take the northern hemisphere for a second, which is the same in the southern, so on and so forth. Differences to each place where you are on the planet, we get it, but we're just, again, similar issues, north and south. In the northern hemisphere where we are, this time of year, sun comes up, goes down shorter, right? There's less sunlight. Your Bible says, do what you must do during the day because at night no man should be working. You take that interpretation of what that knowledge might mean to yourself. Over here, we're letting you know real quick. Get what you got to get done during the day because the foolishness starts at night. And it does. You go to a gas station, most any neighborhood, you're going to see that mess happen. And while we know stuff pop off during the day, all of this garbage that we see happens at night. Right? I know Massa got it good, but we're all out in these stores working and we're not home with the family no more. But the foolishness goes on at night. So maybe it's good that it's shorter. We can go home and spend more time at home if we're following that verse. Right? So divisive. This is what this dude talking about, divisive, right? A divisive campaign against drug cartels in the waters off of South America. Okay, South America, right? All this South America. He's talking about shooting down boats way over here in the Pacific. Now, of course, that says the North Pacific, but Pacific, right? What are we doing shooting over here when you got beef with folks over here? What are they trying to do? Pass off stuff to the Samoans over there? Maybe they're trying to go over to China. So this is what people like doing, right? You can connect dots this way. You can't do it the other way. So maybe they're trying to get over to China to be able to, power up with them and have some like super duper drug cartel going across, what? No. We do know there's a lot of oil in Venezuela, don't we? Maybe we don't. In Tulsa, they burned down the town there, right? Destroyed it. Terrorism was going on for the resources there. They're coming out with a movie for Sarah Rector now, family, right? We don't talk about Sarah Rector on this podcast. They're coming out with a movie about it. I'm sure they're not going to tell all the truth. We're going to see if they talk about them Guardians. Before the Cleveland Indians changed their name to Guardians, and we're going to take this pivot right here to just talk about the Blue Jays for a second. Yeah, man. Yo, hey, sympathies to the Toronto Blue Jays. The Yankees didn't put near a fight the year before with the Dodgers that y'all did. However, it shows there is a fundamental breakdown in these teams. They are not built to win on the big stage. And it is unfortunate that the Dodgers are the benefactor of poorly built American League teams. We are family. We give credit to where it's due. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers. But the part we're just not going to walk on by mentally is that these teams collapse when they are not supposed to. Okay, because they're not built to win in these environments. We have watched great teams battle, and you have going past, time past. I know folks gonna make the excuse, well, it's changed since 1996, KJ. And while sports has evolved over time, there is a base of things that remains the same. Pitching and defense will win you championships. This is just taking a sports pivot for a second, because again, your boy talks about it all. We talk about it all. We try to. We'll let Snoop play in the background. Give your boy a chance to collect his thoughts, right? Pitching and defense will win you championships. Again, we have, we do not make any qualms about your boy being a Cowboy fan or a Yankee fan, like we just said. I'm a New York Rangers fan, so on and so forth. Again, your boy is New York, born and bred. Okay? At the end of the day, y'all, the thing is not set up correctly. Okay? It's not. Pitching is wrong, and we exchange it for the hitting because hitting now is what's putting. See, again, maybe the fan needs to start like, I don't need to see a 17-16 game anymore. I want to see and it doesn't have to be 1-0. Okay, we understand, but we're talking about right. While Mr. Yamamoto, shout out, pitcher Yamamoto from the Dodgers one time, right? Asian folks doing their thing in the MLB. At the end of the day, family, listen, this is pitching and defense going to win you championships. We understand timely hitting, right? You hear that all the time. We get it with the timely hitting. It don't need to be home runs, though, as a timely hit. Maybe that thing could be like 3 doubles in a row. Never mind. So, let's continue on here. We talking Venezuela. Why are they attacking Venezuela? How much oil do you think is over? Again, historically, it's always a resource why you get attacked. An excuse is put out, but it's always some resource behind it. Again, over in Tulsa, somebody whistled at a so-called YT woman the wrong way or whatever it was, right? Again, if Potiphar's wife in the Bible, right? If Potiphar's wife could make an accusation, this is not against actual abuse. Family, do not mix the two. Okay? We're talking about this specific instance. Don't go taking that to knock down our sisters a little more who are being abused out here by men or by women, right? Potiphar's wife could lie on Joseph. The same thing could happen today. So they made up an excuse. They did it with Emmett Till. They did it in Tulsa. This is just a playing card. Nothing changes. There's nothing new under the sun. So we just again, the things just repeat. Okay, and unfortunately, in this case, you got same villain, new landmass, Venezuela. Just repeating the same stuff that has gone on in these. This all what it is. That was the whole thing behind this Gulf of Mexico, Gulf America mess. This is what it is. Making America great is coming back and taking the rest of the mess. Okay, that's what this is about. So we double down on the places that they couldn't get to. That would just make sense, right? If he was trying to build up an evil empire, you doubled down on where you couldn't take. Anyway, 303 billion barrels of oil in Venezuela, the largest proven reserve in the world over in the West. If we're being comparative like that. I don't mean to be like that, but it's a cool little feather in the cap, right? Proven in the world, family. So when where are you getting this information from, KJ? You got different articles that you see coming from all over. Let's see. Let's just see. Hold on a second now. Hold on a second. We're just gonna read. We're just gonna. So the BP Statistical Review of World Energy. That was back in 2015, 2014. This is where this is coming from. We're not making up these things. People are measuring them, telling you what's going on. Venezuela got them oil reserves, family. Could someone explain to me, maybe leave it in the chat or something, why, or in the comments after the fact, why is Venezuela, why do our Latin brothers and sisters and black folks beef so much? Why are we playing around? It's time to come together, family. You know why we got a problem with the SNAP thing? And again, you're going to see the fractioned off. You're going to see that fractioned off thing happening. Well, this opportunity for the church to do it is church. Any belief, any. This is the time where if y'all believe in helping, this that time people need help. Right? We know you're going to collect the tithe. We understand that Marvin Winans is yelling at members because clearly they're giving in the wrong line and everything publicly, and you're doing all kind of mess. This is going to be a chance now, maybe some of that money to come back the other way. Maybe some of that money comes back the other way, huh? Now, with all this oil here, okay, and there's you can a lot of places, again, it's proven. People ask the question, well, maybe why are they not benefiting? And this is what the United States is trying to help out with. They ain't never helped out with it, not nowhere, but this is what they're trying to help out with. Okay. Here's the rest of the article. Hegseth, who's been traveling in Japan and Malaysia, said in a social media post that intelligence determined it. The craft was transmitting along a known narco trafficking route carrying narcotics. Okay. He said the strike was conducted in international waters and no U.S. forces were harmed. Okay. A video posted by Hegseth shows a boat exploding into flames and smoke. It was the 14th. So it's on and going. So that defense money that they keep paying for, family, right, to enrich themselves, not you. I know, maybe you got a new library in your town, or maybe you got a new supermarket in your town, maybe even a new car dealership in your town, right? But again, it's not your pocket. Theirs, right? 14 strikes since the campaign began in early September. So while we barbecuing for Labor Day, and while we was getting candy with the kiddos a couple days ago for Halloween, this is what the U.S. military been doing. Let me rephrase. At the beck and call of the U.S. government. Right. As has been said about I like the way I heard it one time, right? The U.S. military, the basis of it, right? Pretty cool show on Netflix, actually, talks about it. I forgot the name of it. I want to say Bones. I could be wrong on that, right? Boots. I think maybe it's called Boots. Just showing the inner workings in the mind, how they act. Maybe it's overblown. We get it. It's a place where older YT men, tell younger YT men where to shoot. Where to attack. Let's say it that way, right? Again, TikTok has all these. It's a shame. It's a shame how they control your language. So this is early September. This mess has been going on. And the death toll has grown up to 61. And as long as that's involved and they got this whole thing about drugs, we know the war on drugs in the ghetto was a bunch of mess. It was made up. Okay. The situation was very real, but the source by which the situation occurred was messed up. People don't want to believe it. That's fine. And don't take away from what happened anyway. It seems like they doubling down doing the same kind of thing again over here. It just seems like it. Trump administration, this is the fourth paragraph, the Trump administration has also been building up an unusually large force of warships. Interesting. An unusually large force of warships in the region carrying Marines and aircraft. You know what's unfortunate when you go to church, like, see, in order, it's to the black preacher. I always point back to this because it kind of makes sense. And this will probably be about the same thing over in the Church of England. See, it's about control. It's not about connecting relationship between creation and creator. On the plantation, when the black preacher got inside the house talking to the slaves, it was to keep them docile so they would not revolt against massa. In the Church of England, it was to do the same thing with the peasant, using dignitaries and whoever to make sure that they would never rise up against the king and queen. These are people who were wrong, by the way. They were operating in sin. But yet they're going to talk to the peasant about what sin they doing. We're going to have conversations about Halloween. I keep, unfortunately, people just like we said, folks like to double down in a thing. Listen, Halloween ain't got nothing to do with that spookism y'all talking about. We are telling you, family, whether we are speaking on Dia de Muertos or Dia de Muerte, right? We're talking about honoring the dead. That's how we operate over here. The spirit world, people know very little about. We're more concerned in whale videos and cat videos and dog videos and cooking videos. And while all these things are cool, there's other things we do not point our attention to. We don't. That's why I do not make fun of our Wiccan brothers and sisters. It's time for the rest of the group to start getting involved in this good earth, right? Celtic and Germanic belief that they damn near crushed that in the name of quote unquote Christ. Again, what you believe in, you ain't got to go across the world. That ain't, don't take the Great Commission, turn it into some battle, some death zone somewhere. That's not it. So they have been building an unusually large force of warships in the region. Folks, when you study battle, we don't use this word war. We should, again, war from our Germanic brothers and sisters means confusion. That's what the etymology of the word means. So maybe instead of saying confused ships, we'll call them battleships. It's better said that way. Carrying Marines and aircraft. Their presence has fueled speculation that moves are aimed at ousting Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, whom the U.S. has accused of narco-terrorism. There's a lot of catchwords and catchphrases that people use, family. Again, we did this. We just finished doing this dance. We just spoke on it a little earlier right now, talking about our brothers and sisters over in the East. I'm using this Middle East term, middle. Where's the middle? Where's West East? In the East. Our Semite brothers and sisters. Peace, family, wholeness is what that word means. Completeness. It's time. We do it in our individual lives, whether it's in mental health, physical health, weight loss and such. It's time to do it from a societal standpoint. No more this perfect world, none of that. It's time to let go of the excuses. When it comes to these SNAP benefits, this is just an opportunity to do what we got to do. There's an opportunity to do what we got to do. Again, taking another pivot, talking about Jade Cargill. Number one, shout out to you, sis, for winning the WWE Women's Championship. As a black woman in the white man's game, the YT man's game, congratulations. But what we won't do here as a wrestling fan is excuse the fact that the wrestling content is very low, okay? Some wrestling fans is going to come right out and say that sister can't wrestle, and I cannot disagree with them, okay? Has she gotten better since she left AEW and went to WWE and maybe the Performance Center? More money to throw around, so it's easier to learn and do some things. We understand maybe some voices have gotten to her head, not like Randy Orton. And maybe now, there's certain things here, but you can still see where she flops around. You still see there's certain parts here. Again, this is just what it is. There's certain people who can't, this ain't a shot on this sister being black. None of that, family. We ain't doing that. Okay? We ain't doing that. But at the end of the day, family, maybe pump the brakes on the championship thing. We understand you brought her from there for a reason. Maybe it's in her contract, all that. We get it. But people can get hurt. We done said this about Nia Jax. We've watched it where people can get hurt. People can get hurt on doing this thing, okay? Oh, they signed up for it, blah, blah, blah. But man, again, take all that stuff, find your best garbage disposal, paper shredder, whatever, and go shred that mess, okay? People just because they agree on this does not mean they agree for some moron to hurt them. That is two totally different things. And in this case, it's just not there. When you watch the match on Saturday night's main event last night, you could just see there's a lot of flopping around. They're young, they're learning. Okay. I get the narrative that WWE is trying to do. Like this is part of some reparations thing because there's black music all over the place in WWE now. There's a lot of tan, brown, and dark skin tone folks more than we have seen in wrestling in ever. We get it, but like we like to say on this podcast, folks like staring at the butt, but there's certain butts they don't like staring at. Right at this point, it has gone. One, it's clear black folks need to start getting their own band together, get your own promotion. That's number one. Okay. Trying to come up in a division where it's okay touting. I could say certain things here, okay? Get your own. And we ain't got to look to come up in WWE. We can just be on the come up. That's that part of it. However, inside this group of WWE that we're in, just to rush to give, it's funny, right? So over in AEW, and hopefully the dignitaries hear this one. Over in AEW, maybe we need to give Anthony Bowens a title. I know since you broke up the Acclaimed, because Max Caster has some stuff to say, maybe Anthony Bowens needs a shot. If we're okay promoting MXM, and there's nothing against these brothers, same thing with, I want to say... gosh, I keep forgetting this guy's name, man. He rolls around with some dudes carrying him on like a throne and all that kind of thing. Let's see. Darren. Let's see. And now this is right about the point where I know his first name is Darren. I just always forget. I always forget the rest of his name. Oh, man. Dalton, not Darren. Dalton Castle, okay? Which has been a decorated wrestler in Ring of Honor. It's maybe since we're doing all this with 4 people and we're trying to represent and all this kind of stuff. Okay, give Anthony Bowens, who has come out as openly homosexual, give him a championship. To see again, this is where there's a lot of pseudo going on, family. Okay, they're not going. You will have too much fan backlash, unfortunately. Because folks can't take in the wrestling content, you're looking at something else, right? Again, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, you're not judging a person by the content of their character. You're judging them by something else, okay? So, this is what they had. They had an issue with Nia Jax with this. Not Nia Jax, excuse me. Gosh, what was her name? Nyla Rose. Yeah, they had a problem with Nyla Rose with this, okay? It was a transgender wrestler. Again, if Nia Jax is a big old butt, okay, can go squashing on these short, 100-pound soaking wet women. I'm pretty sure that Nyla Rose could do the same thing, but we get it. We understand where people are coming from, okay? It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. If you really about putting up that weight and you care about the black person so much, it's cool to, with the same thing with Jey Uso. What we watch with Jey Uso is an absolute travesty, family, okay? This is just having a second to talk about the mess that Massa be doing. We eating everywhere, every crowd everywhere, all over the planet, by the way, right? Because I'm pretty sure he started the whole rise of that started in Paris, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. With the lights on and everybody eating and all that kind of thing. I could be wrong on that. Because right about that time was when I was just getting back into watching WWE programming. Right. Since AEW came out, I've been way more there than anything else. So Jay been on this meteoric run up to WrestleMania. Awesome storyline with him and Gunther. It was necessary to talk about that, especially again when you're talking about Eastern Europe, when it's dealing with black folks, family. When it's come on now, we don't turtle shell over here. So it was good to see Jay win over him. But everything leading up to that got a little weird. He wasn't just as excited as he was. It was very weird. I know there was something came out and he had some injuries somewhere or whatever was going on. Everything, but it only makes sense. It only makes sense. This ain't no victim splaining. Folks wanted to. We're just telling you what it is. It's the same thing with this whole Venezuelan story here with the U.S. You can go right ahead and think that, of course, Venezuela. This whole Venezuelan story here with the U.S. You can go right ahead and think that, of course, Venezuela is they're making up some massive drug army, right? I could say some other things here, but again, we on TikTok. I'll save some of that for Spotify, man, because TikTok gets a little weird, man. It's always been like this. You put up some dignitary somewhere, say that they're evil when they're trying to help their people, and then you come in and you do the wrong. Again, now you flip this around because people had an issue with Adolf Hitler, right? Okay, as viably so. Yet, years before the whole battle of World War II, you've got Nazi conferences in New York, in the garden. Again, stuff you can find. This is proven stuff. They sitting there marching. They marching like they was marching up in Ohio here. I think it was the beginning of this year, right? Neo-Nazis just march. See, the government signed off on that. Oh, they got a right to speak, KJ. Blah, blah. This is what we're doing. But when people talk about the wrong that is going on in government, that part you can't talk about. Yeah, we already know. Right. So some of this stuff here, just to tie off this thing with Jade Cargill, unfortunately, again, shout out to the sis for winning from that standpoint, being a black woman winning, and we get it. But hopefully she's not. It's unfortunate to see someone who's not a finished product winning. That's all. It's the same critique I have with Dominic Mysterio. People will have an issue with it, and I get it. Maybe show him doing more wrestling matches, then give him the Intercontinental Championship, because that's supposed to be a belt for the hard worker. I know at this point we do this kind of, well, it's a new time. It's a blah, blah, blah. Again, all you're doing is taking a poo-poo on the whole of the history of this belt, whether you're talking Bret, Shawn, Stone Cold, and just go back before that. And now we're just going to give it to a kid. Brand new kid. We understand his father. Shout out. Your matter of fact, hold on a second. Shout out to Rey Mysterio one time. When we talk about the luchador, when we talk about that whole thing, okay, an awesome part of Latin culture, you can't take that away. It's just unfortunate WWE is playing around with it a little bit and giving Dominic the title before he's put in the work. So he's been held back in the background with Judgment Day, and it's been him and Liv with the Nuggies, and all that stuff is cute and funny, and it's cool, and it kind of throws back to Eddie Guerrero, and we get it. But now it's come to the point where we're rewarding without them putting in some of the work, and that can get dangerous. That's all. That's all we're saying. There is no way in the world he should have beat Del Vikingo. There is for the AAA belt. There is no way, unless Vikingo was hurt. No way, right? So again, there's just certain things. Again, it's unfortunate that AAA got bought out by WWE because it is one of the bedrock promotions of luchador wrestling in Mexico. I don't separate the two and do this weird kind of narrative. I don't do that, right? It's just it's unfortunate. And again, they're still gonna be okay, man. Latin folk gonna be okay. So in the mind, there is so much. And thank y'all family for liking this. Again, like this, share this. We're trying to get the message of truth out to folks. A different view. There is this whole idea here with Jade Cargill where it can get very dangerous in the ring. That's just my whole thing with that. Again, we had spoken on the Blue Jays. Unfortunately, man, hey, when you're up 1 run in the ninth, that's not the time to go folding. That ain't it. Just saying, that ain't it. The Bulls are 5-0. And as a Bulls fan, we're gonna ride the wave. We're not just like when the Cowboys start winning. We're not going nuts with it. Riding the wave. We're gonna ride this running of the Bulls, as they say, right? But at the end of the day, that's really all for two people. We know it's Giddey. We know it's Giddey and Bucelis right now, just doing their thing. How long that will go, we'll see. It's 5 games. It's an 82-game season or whatever the NBA is doing. I don't. Again. Get your own league, brothers. Man, the Big Three needs to become more popular. We know that they're doing something here with women's baseball. I think that's supposed to be starting up soon. And again, when you play MLB The Show 24, I believe, they get really into it. I know 25 last year or this past year's edition continued on. But man, the ladies in baseball. We have to give serious credit where credit is due, man. Let's not do this thing here, fellas, because we're hitting 400-foot home runs and throwing 90-mile-an-hour fastballs and the physics of it, and we've all become scientists. I get it. Can't figure out how to band together as people with SNAP benefits so that no one lacks, like it says in Acts, how the church banded together so no one lacked. Yeah. So we can't do that part of it. But the part that we can do is down how the woman can't play baseball. Yet when you look at Toni Stone in the Negro Leagues, clearly that woman could play baseball. So it'll be cool to see how this women's deal goes. We have seen much success with the WNBA. So we'll see how the ladies put on a show with baseball, right? Let us continue on in the laws of the universe, right? The universal laws, family, because again, in life, we can see these laws at work. This is not hocus pocus, abracadabra. This is not taking a shot at our Wiccan brothers and sisters right now. We're saying this more from like a Bugs Bunny standpoint. Hocus cadabra. Abracapocus. That's not what this is, right? This is real laws that are alive and in effect today. Okay. The law of cause and effect, number 6. And then we're going to get into 7 and then we're going to stop, right? So this way we can go on about our day. Enjoy Sunday, November 2nd. Find ways that we can be good to each other, family. That, man, I'm telling you, if you're going to come about that church service or, mass or whatever, right? And you want to get high on this life or whatever that preacher taught you, start being good to people. You start loving on folks. It don't matter what they believe in, none of that. You start loving on folks, man, you watch that energy rise. That thing is real, right? So the law of cause and effect. Again, we're reading from the book, The 12 Universal Laws. The author's name, Manhardeep Singh. Law of cause and effect. Every action has a consequence. You know, it's unfortunate, like some of the division that happens. Well, hold on a second. They got this little live ending thing here, so let me just do this so we can keep it rolling here, and then we're gonna come to the close. That's their way of telling me it's time it's time to stop, right? The law of cause and effect. Every action has a consequence. The principle that one's intentions, family. Let me do this real quick, man. Let me just do this real quick. Intentions. Mr. Bieber made a song back in the day talking about intentions, family. What is your? And we did a whole podcast on it, on this word, off this word intention. Intention. So when you just, again, this ain't nothing. We looking at the truth of a thing, but this ain't doing no deep search here. When you look up intentions definition, a thing intended, okay, aim or plan. So what is our? You can look at the medicine definition of it here from Oxford's dictionary. The healing process of the healing process. See, when you look at the story of the Good Samaritan, for as many biblical stories as there are, family, the Good Samaritan one is a real powerful one, family, right? Because that's the point. There is a person who fell among thieves. Thieves. Talking about WWE buying out AAA, man. Thieves, family. This is what we're dealing with. There's no knock on the one. We're just saying what it is. What's the aim? What is the plan? The more you start paying attention to it, you can see that plan come out real clear. The principle that one's intentions and actions, their aim, their plan, right, influences one's future is so omnipresent that it appears in many other spiritual traditions. And he's right. Not just in Christianity. That same idea shows up in the rest of the Abrahamic faiths. I said the rest. So yeah, we know about Judaism and Islam. There are others. We'll let y'all look them up. We know they're just going to say it's the only three, but we'll let y'all look them up, right? We know one is Rastafarianism, right? Karma is a popular example. Again, as it is said in the Bible, it is sowing and reaping. We do not make a distinction between the two other than one belief believes it this way and the other belief believes it this way. Sowing and reaping, family, is the law of cause and effect. Every action has a consequence. You have to be careful. Where we back our horse, family, what are we doing? Because if it's okay destroying innocent men and women's lives, that's the wrong horse we're backing. So karma is a popular, we're just saying what it is. It's your choice. Everybody got a choice. Okay, we're just showing the other side of it. Karma, you hear the other side all day long. We're just going to talk this one now. Right? I believe that almost all cultures in the world have some form of you reap what you sow, or what goes around comes around in their lexicon, or in their lexicon, big old word for just in what they believe, right? In their book, in their laws. Going back to, this is on page 39 in the book, The 12 Universal Laws from Manhardeep Singh. Going back to the first universal law, we know that everything we think or do is not. Believe it on the inside, family. It is not in isolation because we are all connected energetically. You don't have to believe that for it to be true. And the Black community is very individualistic. We are okay with Black achievement, yet not Black ownership. Have we asked ourselves, stop blaming the so-called YT person? Have we asked ourselves yet, why? And that's when it gets a little tougher. That's where the work is. That's where you just put another plate on your barbell for our workout heads in the family, right? That's where we just saying what it is. That's where the weight gets a little stronger, but we got the muscles to push back, family, and learn and grow from it. We got to tear down to rebuild, family. That's what happens in your body when we exercise, right? I'm on my own weight loss journey. We all on some type of health journey on some level. You got to break it down to rebuild it back up, which is why the Christian, I don't know why y'all, family, as a Christian, I don't know why Christians have a problem with deconstruction. When in your own body, when you exercise, you must deconstruct to rebuild stronger muscles. So these Instagram pictures we taking, deconstruction happened in the muscle first. And now you looking and seeing what happens when it rebuilds. Hence the photo. Oh man, again, going back to the first universal law, we know everything we think or do is not in isolation because we are all connected energetically. Whether it is good or bad, our thoughts and actions will eventually be reflected back to us in some way. It is said differently, speaking on history, that if you do not learn from history, you are doomed to repeat it. That's only the one negative side. If you learn from history, you will not be doomed to repeat that mess. You'll repeat the stuff that is beneficial. Family, in this time where we do not have SNAP benefits, this is no different than this mess has happened in history before. It is time as people groups from every food bank, library, actual bank, I don't care, in your neighborhood, man, you better get to know your neighbors real good. The farmers, shout out our farmers one time. Farmers and butchers, the baker and the candlestick maker, it's time now to become get reintroduced. You get reintroduced with them because this is where the life of the thing is. It's in community. Us walking around can't say hello to each other or just saying hello to the cliques in the group it'll do it for that little group, but it won't do it for the rest of it. If we're going to survive, family, this is how it's work. We're going to have to be okay with everybody different quirks. I'm just saying what it is. You ain't going to go hell now. You ain't going to hell now because we rule with fear and stuff like this, and it stops us from being good to each other. No. Now shake your brother and sister's hand, man, and help them out. Just like they're helping each other out. Just do the same thing on the other side, right? Again, it's the quote here, just to end off on this, and we're going to get into 7. Shallow men believe in luck. This is a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Shallow men believe in luck. All this ain't happening by chance. You think all this is happening by chance? When this battle with Venezuela that's coming up, family, is going to happen with the U.S., do you think that's happening by chance? No, this is planned in. So that's why when we talk about conspiracies, family, when you look at the word conspiracy, right, coming from conspire, I believe it's said in French, right? And then my French is bad. My apologies to those who are French that might hear this right on the live. This is about the time where it ain't nothing secretive. Again, as your Bible says, what is secret comes out in the open, family. And we have an adversaries who are openly seeking to devour. But we can keep putting it on the one in the pitchfork. I'm sorry, in the red suit with the pitchfork and the tail. We can keep doing that. Again, this is not to discredit the spirit world. We just finished talking about that with the Day of the Dead here, which I believe it started the 31st and it ends on the 2nd. Okay, we know about yesterday was All Saints Day. Again, this is the time to honor the dead. This ain't no devils and spooks and No. That mess they told you is listen. Truth and falsehood is another phrase that's out there, is strangely mixed, because that's the truth. People like to play around with it just a little bit to get you off track of what it is. The part where everybody is all this double toil and trouble part is totally different from what's actually being recognized and observed across this planet. People honor those who are past. Family, this is how we grow from them who were before us. Anyway, so that's the whole thing with that. Shallow men believe in luck. Strong men believe in cause and effect. This is why certain neighborhoods are going to be okay with this SNAP benefit thing. See, now, although some of this is by hook and crook, some of this is not. They actually been working. They've been saving. They've been doing what they got to do. So they're going to be okay. This is no different than in Exodus or Genesis, excuse me, where Joseph is trying to let Egypt know how to deal with this famine that then Potiphar's wife lied on him after the fact, right? Same kind of thing. So let's get into 7 and then we're going to end. The law of compensation. Yeah, it is simple. There is time. So like, there's it's like in Ecclesiastes when it talks about there's a time for everything under heaven, right? So there's a time for things. There's a growth period. We talk about this with our kids with their growth spurt, where sometimes the growth will just come out of thin air, out of nowhere. RKO out of nowhere. Yeah. So like that happens, right? We are rewarded. Now see, this brother says we are rewarded for right action. I like to say we're rewarded for action because again, rewards and consequences are already pre-woven in life. We can get mad on the source. We can waste time being mad on the source all day. We gotta learn how to play the game by its rules. And again, there is more power in the community than it is in the individual. Individuals also make up communities. So one hand washes the other. We get it. Right? The law of compensation, we are rewarded for right action. You will be compensated based on what you give. Which is why we have no problem on this podcast saying you get what you give. Because you do. We do. Me, you, this is that part where we stare in the mirror. This is that part where we stare in the mirror. This is an extension of the law of cause and effect, specifically for compensation in the material world. Good things such as abundance, relationships, and opportunity. This law states that we will be blessed based on the good deeds we do and the value we provide when we show generosity to others, and we will be rewarded back generously. We have to put this in here because, again, we like to deal in realism to an extent. Okay, this is, again, kind of like this says, lean not, right? That lean not part. And I might have caused the camera to go out of focus there. Not that you don't use your understanding. That don't make sense. We're talking about don't lean. You have to combine things. So again, with that same thought in mind, life, especially off the law of averages, certain things are happening in certain places and there aren't in others. In this world, you're going to go through problems. So even while you are doing the thing that is most generous, there are times where that thing will not come back to you that way. However, that does not mean you stop being generous. That means you keep on going. That means we help each other keep on going. Shout out to Jamaica one time. We pray nothing but restoration for that island family as they rebuild off this horrible hurricane that went through that island. No different than Puerto Rico or Cuba or anywhere with any landmass where this mess. Same thing with Hawaii with them silly fires, sick fires that were burning down. I say silly from the standpoint of how they were generated. Horrible, horrible fires, family, right? We pray nothing but restoration for them. Again, where good stuff is going on, something bad can happen. That don't mean you stop. That means we keep going. And then what happens is the averages go. Generosity occurs and we must recognize these things. Sometimes we don't. We all miss them. And it's okay. This is why making fun of each other it's time to build. It's time to, it's cool to laugh at the silly things we do. But some of this stuff, no. It's time to help each other build, right? Remember, there are many, he goes on to say, remember, there are many forms of compensation, not just cash. That is true. A beautiful house, a Ferrari, or a reward for relaxing on the beach. Or to relax on the beach, I guess, right? Compensation also comes in the form of blessings, such as good health. Again, like we the ones before this are action correspondence, action, cause and effect, and now compensation, right? Understand that the actions that are corresponding to whatever it is that you believe in, and in this case, the first three before this were divine oneness, attraction, and vibration. Belief in those causes certain actions, and from those actions that correspond with what you believe, you're compensated. Folks, so to bring it home, right? That's how I was going to end a while ago. Your boy can go, so my apologies. The real base of this is this. There are certain people groups that think that you do not need to exist. Evident that the KKK is still around, whether it be the Daughters of Liberty or whatever group. We're talking about these laws in effect, family. It's not separated. It's the same. We're just talking about the other side of it, right? Because this energy operates in both ways. These laws, these beliefs operate in both ways. Nature, you see it operating. For instance, predator and prey. I had put up a little TikTok thing of that a while ago on my page, right? The predator believes in a certain thing. So does the prey. And if you don't want to get eaten by the predator, there are certain things you got to recognize. You got to know where to hide. You got to know. You got to know when they're around. This is what it is. And it ain't no different. This is what it is. The same way, the prey is not eating the predator, by the way. Right? The predator is always eating the prey. Okay. To survive, you got to know what it is. So again, the KKK, the Daughters of Liberty, whichever one of these groups you want to name. Because again, everybody has a level of supremacy. Hey, let's look at the word supremacy real quick while we close here. Because again, these are catchphrases that Massa uses, get you off the game. So let's just look at what supreme means, because that's where you get the word supremacy. And why I'm saying everybody has a level of supremacy. As an adjective from Oxford's Dictionary of authority, or an office. You yourself have an office. It's you, okay? Or saying, right? Or someone holding it superior to all others. Now, this is the fun part of this. Each people group is superior in their own right. Because the black, or so-called black, so-called YT, so-called Asian, so-called Latin, so-called Indian, so-called Native, Aboriginal, all have levels of superior. That supreme, I should say. That is what puts us in an equal footing. It's why you can see greatness. So when we talk about the Renaissance, that's their superior. Hello, family, but wait. When you see all the people groups fighting back against Massa, they're showing their superiority. Because you don't have the right, because they are superior, to then take them over. Which is why we should live together in peace. Yet, we keep doing this silly dance we do. I digress, okay? To deal in these laws here, right? You got to understand that those groups believe in a certain thing. They believe they're one. They all have a certain vibration and attraction as a result. They are doing actions that correspond to their beliefs, and they are getting certain results from it. Now, here's the thing. Before people start going off on, oh, God did this, that, and other. What are we doing? And that's the problem. We would rather make fun of who is married to who, what kind of job you got, how you dress, all this. No. Understand each person's people group, allow them to do them, and we do us. It's time to band together, family. Do not think that the Black Panther Party and the Rainbow Coalition happened on accident. It didn't. It took people of conviction to come together. All people groups. That was all people groups in that whole coalition, family. All of them. Go look it up. Let's do this. Finish this. Many times we give others what we think they deserve. This is the same mistake we make as parents, where we train children in the way we think they should go. But the verse don't say that. It says to train them in the way they should go. So we're going to have to pay attention to them enough to know which way they should go. See, again, not the way we think they should go, the way they're going to go for their lives, and give them the best, most positive, most foundational, most supporting and uplifting information, both as warning and as guidance, so that they can live the lives they should live, just the same as the rest of us. This mentality is good, but it cannot be transformed into abundance. However, if we change our mindset to over delivery and exceed expectations, we will be compensated accordingly. Let's go back and just tie this in here for anyone who might have got confused. Compensation also comes in the forms of blessings such as good health, loyal friends, loving families, teachers, or mentors. Job opportunities, $1 million ideas. This is why people got to band together. Do you think these, what they call them? Chief financing officers, CFOs or whatever, the LFOs, loan operating officers, all these different weird acronyms they give, right? The people who give you the money for your businesses. Do you really think if they already think you're lower than them, they're going to give you that money? I don't care what they tell you about anti-discrimination and all that. That's trash. Do you really think they're going to? No, they're not. They're not, which is why we got to band together with our money, no different than they did in Tulsa and in Rosewood, Georgia, Florida, the Carolinas, all of that, just popping black towns all over the place back then. No different than before the invader came. Natives had hopping towns and populations and societies all over the place, going all the way down. We talking all the way down South America, family, right? From all the way up in Canada, all the way down. That's what was going on these lands when the East came calling. Etc. Many times we give others what we think they deserve. This mentality is good, but it cannot be transformed into abundance. Because again, we got to be doing not what we think, what they need. However, if we change our mindset to over delivery and exceed our expect, so if we exceed the expectation that we're saying, this is what I think you should get. If we over exceed that, we will be compensated accordingly. Again, that will come back in your life, in my life, which is why I bought into that a long time ago. I bought into that a long time ago. And I've seen it happen in my life many times over. And as I increase in different levels, we're going to continue that kind of thinking. This is why I don't make fun of homeless people. That could be me. The hell I'm doing, making fun of homeless people. Anyway, family, we're going to stop right there, right? I haven't talked on long enough, man. I haven't talked on long enough. Family, thank you for walking this road with me, right? The information we talk about is difficult, but it's necessary. And I'd rather be there all day than down in some black women somewhere, you know, doing all the things that we see going across TikTok or wherever, right? Thank you, family, for walking this road with me. We'll tag up next time. We'll talk about some things. We had some good stuff to talk about today. We will continue, right? Again, you can find the podcast, because this is just a live version of a podcast that's been going on for a long time now, right? From your boy, right? So again, KJ's Clock. This is where you can, you want to friend up to see the information, all that kind of thing. By all means, right? We keep things respectful. I don't deal with no disrespect, none of that mess over here. If that's your bag, somewhere else. Okay. Right. So KJ's Clock here on TikTok, A Different View at A Different View 80 on YouTube. You will find different episodes there that I put there that are not on Spotify. The main people, the OGs, right? Spotify, right? At A Different View. A Different View. A Different View. So on Spotify, Apple, and Pandora, that's where you can find the podcast, right? A whole lot of different information from what you've heard today that I break down further in different episodes there. And that's where we at. That's where we at. Again, TikTok, Spotify, Apple, Pandora, and YouTube. So thank you, family, for walking this road with me. And as always, and until next time, look to find the beauty in a different view.